Today's video is about the concept and also the strategy that we call emotional curiosity. Well, what is emotional curiosity? Emotional curiosity is exactly as it sounds. Getting curious about my emotions, my feelings, the things that upset or distress me. And in the world of EFT and tapping, this concept and the ability to do this is key. It's key to your success. Allowing a part of you to be the observer of yourself and not falling into the trap of believing that your feelings are who you are, that they identify you, because they don't. I'm Susan Bushell. I'm an energy therapist and an EFT International accredited trainer. I teach, train, and mentor EFT students, and I also do one-on-one sessions both online and in person. Although right now, still with COVID, not in person right now. But what's been coming up frequently in my practice lately is that place that we can get to when we can tap down the emotional charge enough to be able to be curious about, where did this feeling come from? Where did it start? How old would I guess I was when it started? What age just pops to mind if I just let myself guess at the age that I was where this feeling started? And the other big one, the big question, sort of the centerpiece is, how did this feeling help me in that moment? How did it help me cope or make it through a difficult or distressing time or emotion? How did it help me endure that or cope with it in some way? If we can allow ourselves to be curious about our emotions rather than just being swept along in them, there's just so much value in that. Not just in our thinking heads and understanding what's going on, because that only has so much value. It doesn't really hit the places where we want it to hit. It doesn't activate the places that we need activated in the trauma centers of our brain and our body. What we want to be able to do is kind of a four-stage process. So the first thing, of course, which sometimes is hard for many people, especially if they've been shut down for a long time, is to allow the feelings, the distress, the stress in the body, even if we don't have a name for it, but we're not even sure what this feeling is or where it's come from. We just know it's uncomfortable. So allowing, capital A, allowing is the first step. The second step is all about accepting that that's there, not fighting it any longer, not trying to stuff it under the rug, shove it down into our bodies, pretend it's not there, rationalize it, try to figure it out, just allowing it to be there. And then acknowledging it, the big A, capital A, acknowledging it. Allowing, accepting, and acknowledging that this feeling is here. And then putting all that information into your setup, right? Into your setup statement. And the final piece, of course, is tap. So then tap on the information you have. Even if it's just a tiny little piece of information, this feels uncomfortable somewhere within me. That's enough to get you started. And then having this mindset as much as possible, and the more you tap, the easier and easier this will become, is getting curious about, where did this come from? How long have I had it? I forgot one. And who did I learn this from? Like, where did I learn to do it this way? Where did I learn to cope or manage my emotions in this way? Right? What person in my life, usually someone in your early life, like one of your folks, taught you to do it this way because that's how they were taught to do it. So no blame at all. It's just, hey, I think I activate, I think I react the same way as my mom did or the same way as my father did. And that may or may not come, that piece of information, but if it does, again, throwing that into your setup and tapping that through, and it allows the body to feel heard, the subconscious feels heard and acknowledged, everything's been allowed. There are no feelings that are off limits anymore. And yet, even when perhaps we discovered that this feeling is far bigger than I ever imagined it was, I thought it was maybe a 6 or a 7 out of 10. I'm realizing it's a 10 plus, and I'm barely holding it together here. Tap, 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 breathe, 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 and allowing that high charge to begin to subside and flow through you rather than getting stuck in you. So the whole concept of emotional curiosity is key to success, and especially to not just helping something feel better, but helping it to be gone, a true zero. Rather than, I get some relief, it feels a little better, I'm coping better. Just there's no need to cope. That's a zero. There's just simply nothing there. It doesn't get to me the way that it used to. And even if there are some dregs, there is a bit of residue that once in a while it still pops up for me in a very highly charged situation. Wash, rinse, repeat. We just do the sequence again and keep training the brain to come back to calm and calming the nervous system. So, emotional curiosity, where did this come from? When did it start? How did it help me with things back then? And who may I have learned this from? Allowing the feeling to be there, completely acknowledging and accepting it, and then tapping it down. Those key components are vital to your success emotionally, and I also believe to your spiritual development as a being on the planet, as a being, as a light being, as an energy being. This is maintenance. This is tending to your self-care at another whole level altogether. So I wish you well. If you need help with this, you can check out my website, which is freeyouremotions.com. I have a membership program you can join to kind of just test me out, see if we're a good fit. Your first month is a trial just to make sure that you feel comfortable with the process. You can book an initial appointment. You can come back for sessions if you haven't been to see me in a while. And there's also EFT training if you want to learn how to do this for yourself in an intensive. I'll be doing another intensive in a few months. So check out my website, freeyoremotions.com. I'm Susan Bushell, energy therapist from Guelph, Ontario, Canada. Bye for now.